I went to Fort Sam Houston there in San Antonio for induction station. And after we went through a bunch of preliminaries there, which was the way they did all of them that were being inducted and so forth. And after we got through with all that, well, they decided to send me to Camp Walters at Mineral Wells, Texas, and which was an infantry camp. And we did our basic over there. And then at the end of the basic training, they gave us another physical. And for some reason, there was a few other ones. We got transferred to the Air Force, to Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls. And there we had went through another personnel screening and everything, and that's when they decided then the ones that got transferred out of the infantry were supposed to go to airplane mechanic school. So we were sent from Wichita Falls to Amarillo, Texas, Amarillo Air Force Base. And we got over there, and the best we thought we were informed that they were under quarantine, actually. They had some kind of a sickness there. And, of course, we stayed at the base, but I think there was a certain area that was quarantined. And actually, time went on, and nothing ever happened about us getting ready to go to mechanic school. We did a bunch of details in the meantime, pulled KP and what other odd jobs they needed to be done. And so finally one day they said, well, you're not going to school here. We're going to send you to Biloxi, Mississippi to school. So we went to Biloxi, and we still ended up never going to AM school to this day. Actually, what happened while I was at Biloxi, the war actually ended, and I guess a lot of that stuff called for different plans, most probably, because actually when I went overseas, we were considered the occupational force. So, but actually from Biloxi, I went to Love Field in Dallas first. And there they finally assigned me to the motor pool. And so I did about 6 months, roughly, of being a driver, transporting pilots back and forth to Love Field there, because that was considered a transport command base. And so I had the night shift from 7 to 7 in the morning, and we'd either be called to come pick up some pilots that came in to maybe pick up some planes, or some guys that were fixing to go out there to take a plane or two out, whatever the case might have been. So it was a back and forth situation. I mean, you either picked up some that came in, pilots, or either some that were fixing to leave out. But then after about 5, 6 months there, that's when we got our orders to go to South America, to Brazil. and they flew us all the way to Natal, but Natal actually didn't need some help as the people at Belém did. So Belém was about 1,000 miles back this way. And over there, I ended up being an ambulance driver, plus being the clerk typist with the medics. And I stayed with that until they decided to send us back home. By that time, there was enough leeway to where a lot of these folks, if you ended up having, say, 2 years or right thereat, then you was eligible to be discharged. So, and of course, whatever rank I had, I got mostly there while I was in the medics. And of course, I ended up being sergeant, and if I wanted to stay, the major said I could most probably make staff, but
Staff sergeant.
But I was ready to come home and do something different.